So there's this donut chain in Western Washington called Legendary Donuts, and they're known for making over-the-top donuts with all kinds of crazy combinations. Like this is an apple fritter. This thing is massive. So without further ado, I'm gonna try a bunch of Legendary Donuts and let you know what I think. Even the donut box is gigantic, so I gotta kind of shuffle this stuff around. Now, it is around Easter time, so I thought it would be appropriate to start with their Easter egg donut. I'm gonna see just how much these things weigh. And it looks like this is 7.5 ounces. This donut alone is almost half a pound. Now, most donuts are around like 2 or 3 ounces. So these things are so gigantic. And it's filled with chocolate mousse. So it's kind of like a Boston cream donut, but with chocolate on the inside. And this is just a big pot of milk I can use for dunking if I want to. It was filled with that chocolate cream. And I gotta tell you, that was delicious. Like, I thought it might be over the top with too much chocolate, but no, that was great. I'd never thought about doing that with the Boston cream. But man, that chocolate mousse really, really was awesome. So I'm gonna give that donut a solid 7 out of 10. Nice and light and fluffy, not overbearing. Even though it is gigantic, like, I didn't feel like it was super dense and super heavy. It was really light, really nice. Next up, this looks like an old-fashioned donut with some cream cheese topping and a little carrot on top, a little fondant carrot. So I expect this is gonna be like a carrot cake donut. Let's give it a shot, see how it is. That really is like if a carrot cake and a donut had a baby. Like, it tastes like a donut and it also tastes like carrot cake. Now, the texture is a little bit odd. I was expecting it to be a little bit more dense, but no, it kind of like falls apart in your mouth. It's a little bit weird, a little bit off-putting. Carrot cake isn't my favorite, so if you like carrot cake, you'd probably love this. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. Not my favorite. But yeah, that cream cheese icing on top, it's really sweet. It's got a little bit of that tang you'd expect from cream cheese. Now, my father loves carrot cake, so I'll bet he'd really like this one. Now, I saw this, and I could not help but laugh when I saw this in the case. It's a wee little chick. This is, again, one of their Easter donuts. It's covered in yellow sprinkles. I wonder if this is cream filled. It is topped with a white icing. I don't know what flavor this is gonna be. So let's open this guy up. No, it's just a solid donut. I'm curious to see how much this guy weighs too. 8 ounces exactly, a half a pound donut. Man, you can really tell that these are yeast risen donuts. Really high quality. The flavor in that sweet icing, that white icing on top, is so sweet. It's like going straight to my brain. So I know the yellow sprinkles on top are kind of what makes this donut unique, but I don't really like that texture. It's a little bit gritty in my teeth. Feels like I'm eating sand a little bit. So no thanks. I'm gonna give this guy 6 out of 10. Like, it's still pretty tasty, but I think it would have been better without the sprinkles. And that's a 6 out of 10 on the donut scale, so this is still really friggin' awesome. Let's go with this apple fritter. "12 ounces. This is 3/4 of a pound of donut. I don't even want to think about how many calories are in this. I know a lot of people really dislike apple fritters, or they really love apple fritters. And this is one of the best apple fritters I have ever tasted. Oh my goodness. There's so many different textures in this. Like, there's a little bit of crispiness with the caramelization on top. And then there's the fluffy insides. You get a little bit of bite from these huge chunks of apple that are inside of this thing. I mean, oh my goodness. I like apple fritters, and this is easily the best I've ever had, easily. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Really, really great. So this is what they just called the plain Jane, just a regular old glazed donut. This one's only 4 ounces. Not super huge, but still quite big. Man, you've probably seen a bunch of stunts from people who eat like 2 or 3 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I mean, each one of these is like 3 or 4 Krispy Kreme donuts. I'd love to see one of those guys try to eat a dozen of these donuts. So the legendary plain Jane, it's really fluffy. You can taste that they really put an effort to get the best ingredients in these donuts. Definitely makes a difference. That glazing on top, just the right amount of sweetness. This may be the best glazed donut that I have ever had. Not too heavy. Not so light that like disappears when you put it in your mouth. That's one thing that I never liked about Krispy Kreme donuts. They're too light. It's like you take a bite and it disappears. No, this actually feels like you're eating something. So this is fantastic. Regular old plain Jane donut, I'm gonna give you a 7.5 out of 10. Really good. Next up, another classic. They call this their dirty donut. It's just a regular donut dusted with sugar and cinnamon. Now, these kind of sugar dusted donuts were never my favorite, so I'm gonna give this just a 6 out of 10. But that's just my personal opinion. I'll bet if you like dusted donuts, this kind of sugar dusted donuts, you'd probably really dig this, because it's still a great donut. here's one. Just looks like a regular sprinkled and chocolate donut, but they called this the Leonardo Da Vinci. So I don't know if there's something special about it on the inside or what, but we'll give it a shot, see how it is. Yeah, I mean, it tastes like a pretty good donut, but I think it's just a chocolate donut with sprinkles. I don't know where the Leonardo Da Vinci comes in. But there you go. It is so huge, it is very difficult for me to take a bite out of it. Have to like unhinge your jaw like a snake. Soft and fluffy, donutty, cakey goodness. I'm still gonna give it about a 6 out of 10. I don't think this is terribly creative, but it's a chocolate donut with sprinkles. It's still pretty good. Look at this thing. It's so massive. It's like a foot long. It's like as big as my forearm. This is another 8-ounce donut. Looks like a twist, a glazed twist. I don't actually know what these things are called, but you know what these things are. They're a twisty donut with some cinnamon in it and covered it in that glazed icing. I don't know if it's my imagination, but this tastes a little bit lighter, a little bit fluffier than some of the other donuts. Gonna give this guy a 7 out of 10. Really, really excellent flavor. Get a little bit of that spice and a lot of that sugar. And I always liked how you could like tear these things apart, almost like monkey bread. So it's not quite as much of a struggle to like cram this thing in your mouth. Not quite as difficult as with some of those other ultra big size donuts. So they don't only have apple fritters, they also have blueberry fritters. And it's important to get your fruits and vegetables, gotta get those vitamins. So of course I'm gonna go for a blueberry fritter. Blueberries are they're a certified superfood with all their antioxidants and all that stuff. Blueberries are just a little bit tart, and it's a really nice contrast to all this like super sweet stuff. Of course, you still get all those different textures just like the apple fritter, but there's a little bit of that tartness in it that you didn't get from the apples. So I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. Again, this is really dang good. I've had blueberry fritters before that just tasted like cough medicine. And that is not the case. You can tell that they used actual blueberries in this. So good, phenomenal. Alright, I'm gonna continue the blueberry theme with their Blues Brothers donut. This looks like a cake donut with blueberries in it. See those blueberries speckled throughout? Now that's a pretty dense donut. Pretty dense cake donut. I wonder if they used a different kind of flour for this too. Maybe like a whole wheat flour because it's really dark on the inside. The tartness of the berries not coming through quite as much in this as it was in the blueberry fritter. And cake donuts, you know, not my favorite. So despite having an awesome name, these donuts are kind of blah. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Like, it's good, it's okay. No, I'm just gonna say it's just okay. It's not really very good. Double chocolate. You don't need to be creative with chocolate. Just put chocolate on top of more chocolate. It'll be good. Yeah, it tastes like chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. I take that back. It's really dense, so it's more like chocolate muffin with chocolate frosting. If you like chocolate, you're gonna love this. But oddly, I don't feel like it's overpowering in the chocolatiness. Like, it's a pretty good balance. Like, I would think a chocolate donut with chocolate frosting would be too much chocolate. But no, I'm gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. Really well executed. Again, high quality ingredients makes the difference. I had low expectations for this, and it broke those expectations. Really dang good. This thing feels like it's filled with lead. So yeah, this thing is about 10 ounces. It's called the Red Riding Hood. Looks like it has raspberry jelly on top. Yeah, that's what it tastes like. Raspberry jelly on top of a buttermilk donut. This is way heavier than it looks. This is as heavy as a friggin' brick. This is incredible. Now, buttermilk donuts, probably my favorite. This is an excellent buttermilk donut. You get that unique buttermilk flavor that's really distinctive from all the other donuts. But it's so gigantic. Like, there's no way I would be able to fit this entire thing in my mouth. I have to kind of pick it apart. Let's see. It's really super unwieldy. I don't think the jelly on top adds much to it either. I don't think the flavor combination is particularly good. It doesn't take away from how great the buttermilk donut is, but it doesn't add anything. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Really great buttermilk donut. Well, that was 1 dozen legendary donuts. And the only way I can follow that up is with another dozen legendary donuts. I'm gonna see how many of these things I can get through. So let's start with the king size classic maple bar. This is a 7-ounce donut. Again, it's like 3 times the size of a regular maple bar. It's so over the top. It's so cliche to say, but you can like taste the love that is put into these donuts. Because it just tastes like a maple bar that's been turned up to 11. The best maple bar that I've ever had. And I love maple bars. I love that maple flavor. So I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Really, really great. Now this unique thing is a special kind of donut that they're really known for called Dosanjh. It's kind of like a cross between a donut and a croissant. You can see that it's layered like a croissant. I'm really excited to try this and see how it is. And now that I've tried it, I'm really disappointed. The layering just makes it kind of like chewy and gummy. Maybe like a 3 or 4 out of 10. I mean, this is really not even very good. It tastes like, well, it tastes really good, but the texture is like a 3-day-old donut. I'm gonna put that back for now. Let's move on to some more interesting things. Now this is what they called a Yogi Bear. Looks like it's a cross between like a bear claw and, I don't know, like a sweet calzone. It said it was filled with cheese and bacon. And that bacon is really smoky. I think that bacon is a little bit overpowering. Now generally I like that kind of sweet and salty combination. But I do think the bacon is a little bit too much. Sorry guys, another miss. The Yogi Bear, I'm only gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Man, not very good. So I'm gonna try this chocolate bar covered with peanuts. And I'm not sure what this is. Tastes like a really sweet peanut butter sauce. So it's just a chocolate and peanut bar. Alright, the one thing I have to say is why hasn't anybody ever done that before? Chocolate and peanut butter is a classic combination. Everybody should be doing that. I'm gonna give that a 7.5 out of 10. Really, really fantastic. And I love that chocolate peanut butter flavor combination. So next up, looks like it's just a regular old bear claw. No, this is the Yogi Bear claw. Good grief. And it's filled with peanut butter and jelly. So that other one that I said was a Yogi Bear claw, that's actually called a Coasties. So we'll see what the Yogi Bear claw actually tastes like. So they didn't use like a peanut butter icing or a sweet peanut butter in there. It's just regular old, tastes like Jif peanut butter or something. But man, it's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, except with donut instead of bread. This is really, really tasty. It reminds me of being a kid again. Yeah, the nostalgia factor with this one is really strong. So sorry for that earlier confusion. The Yogi Bear claw is friggin' delicious. Looks like it's strawberry jam. Yeah, if you like PB&J, you would love this. Yogi Bear claw, 7.5 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for the Yogi Bear claw. Really delicious. Really creative to put peanut butter and jelly on the inside of a donut. I got a ton of donuts left, but I am absolutely full, as these donuts are way too big. I'm not gonna be able to finish all these in one sitting.